From the moment of their birth, Tatiana and Krista have astounded the medical community.
It was almost like visual information was going from one set of eyes to both twins.
And stolen the hearts of just about everybody they meet.
He hugged me like this. See, I told you.
It's been a while since we last caught up with the Hogan family, and frankly, we couldn't resist another visit.
They're a one of a kind. They're amazing little girls.
I'm Anne Marie McDonald. DocZone checks into twin life.
Everything changed that day. My doctor had called me and said, you need to come in. So that morning we went in and he sat us down and there was me and my mom. And he's like, there's just no real way to actually explain this to you, but, your girls are conjoined at the head. It was like everything slowed completely down. He had told me, there is options. I mean, you can abort them or whatever. And I snapped out of it and I looked at him and I was like, no, that is not even an option.
They said, well, you've only got a 20% chance of them surviving. But Felicia said, my girls are going to be fine.
It puts a whole new perspective on everything because you don't know what the trials in front of you are. You start doubting yourself, wondering if you're up to it. You always envision the worst.
Good. It's a tunnel. It's the tunnel. You like the tunnel lights, don't you? Yeah. And done.
Six-year-old Tatiana and Krista Hogan and their family are once again driving over 400 kilometers from Vernon, British Columbia to Vancouver.
I could probably drive this road blindfolded by now.
I got my new medicine. Just turn white, Grandma.
Yeah. Are we going to go see Dr. Human?
Yeah.
Is he going to make sure that your heart is okay, Tatiana?
Yeah.
It's April, and the twins have their annual week of medical appointments ahead of them.
Tatiana's heart, as they grow, has to work harder. And this is one of their yearly checkups for the heart and that, so we kind of hold our breath and try not to think about it until after the test.
Going for these appointments, there's always the unknown of everything. If people could live my life, they'd wonder why I'm always dizzy, right? Because it'd make your head spin. Just seeing everything that I've had to go through with them it's hard, but I wouldn't ever change it. I would go through it a million times if I could. In my next lifetime, if I could have this life, I would choose it over everything.
Guess what I see, girly girls?
I found a little cave.
Hotel home.
Okay, fine. You sleep then. Sillies.
Their hotel has become a home away from home, and the familiarity means they don't deal with the usual questions.
Glad to see you guys. People are always coming up to us and saying, are they going to be separated soon? The answer is no. They cannot be separated. They have too much wiring going to each other for them to ever be separated.
Mommy was and Mommy told me we go together. That's why we stuck together. And we was little eggs. Yeah.
Their brain mass is joined, so instead of being butted together like this, they are zipper affected like this. So they're like this one big zipper that can't be unzipped.
As conjoined twins, Tatiana and Krista have an astonishing brain structure. They share a skull and blood flow to the brain, but there's also an unusual connection between each girl's thalamus. The thalamus is a part of the brain that regulates consciousness and relays sensory and motor signals. In Tatiana and Krista's case, a piece of tissue links one girl's thalamus to the other's. This thalamic bridge makes them unique in the world.
That's like a routering board for the two of them. That's where all of the information is going to and from each twin.
It's a connection that amazes the medical community and their family, who discovered early on that this thalamic bridge comes with some interesting effects.
They were still really young. We were making trips back and forth to Vancouver.
We had a little DVD player that was attached to the van.
And the way their car seat positioned them, only one could see the screen at a time. But they'd both go quiet.
And we thought, what is going on? Is it possible? Is she actually watching the TV too through her sister's eyes?
And we figured, no. We didn't know how to bring it up to the doctors because we figured, well, they're going to tell us we're off the deep end. This can't happen. He was pretty understanding, and they'd done some tests, and they found out that, yeah, they could.
Are you ready? You're getting your picture taken over and over.
When the twins were 7 months, doctors observed that both girls' brains processed light signals even when one sister had her eyes covered.
It was almost like visual information was going from one set of eyes to both twins. And we were able to record some evidence of that using visual evoked potentials actually quite early on in life. And we've since repeated that.
Doctors suspect that visual input travels from one girl's retina along her optic nerve and then splits into two courses. One takes the usual pathway to her visual cortex. The other crosses the thalamic bridge to her sister's thalamus and then visual cortex.
Okay, you're gonna go downstairs to the bathroom, okay? Where are you gonna go, Kuchu? Boink. Boink.
What's that?
Those are my scissors. Ready?
That's hurt.
It's not gonna hurt. Open your eyes. Can you see that, Krista?
Yeah.
Are you watching through Sissy's eyes? Yeah. What am I cleaning, Krista?
Puppies.
Where? What's this? What am I cleaning?
Her teeth.
That's Charlie's.
But the family thinks Tatiana and Krista's internal connection goes far beyond sight.
The other day I was tickling Tatiana and Krista looks over at me. She's like, I can feel that. I was like, really?
We know they can send thoughts back and forth because they start giggling and you know they're up to something and they haven't said a word. And pretty soon they'll go pull a prank. So you know they're communicating, we just don't know how.
Come on, little ladies, let's go. I'm gonna get you.
Tatiana and Krista are on their way to BC Children's Hospital for a day of testing.
When we go for testing and stuff, it's just like, okay, please let these tests come out normal. Please let them be okay. Because anything could switch and go completely wrong.
Their family is most concerned about their heart exam, and that's first on the agenda.
Okay, ladies, come follow me.
I'm coming. I'm right behind you.
Right this way.
The test will measure how well each twin's heart is beating and pumping blood. The main concern is Tatiana's heart and blood pressure. Since birth, Tatiana, the smaller of the twins, has pumped the majority of the blood to both girls' brains.
Tatiana had a relatively large cardiac output, and that led to an increased heart size in her and slightly elevated blood pressure.
We've always been told that sooner or later it's going to take its toll. We're just waiting until the test and then see what the results say.
Okay, guys, we're all done. Clean as a whistle. Yes, you can get up.
Now the family must wait for the results of the heart exam to be analyzed by the cardiologist.
It's all going to depend on the relative mixing of the circulations. If one is providing a very disproportionate amount of blood flow, then they're going to get into trouble.
We're hungry.
You're hungry. All right, well, let's go get breakfast.
It's hard to do these appointments, especially for the heart, because you're always waiting for that bad news that Tatiana's heart's starting to fail. I mean, she could live for a very long time. But then again, nobody knows. You know, that's one thing about them. Doesn't matter if they're sick or what they are, they're always happy.
The results from the heart exam are in, and the family meets privately with the cardiologist.
I don't know what they're gonna see until he actually opens his mouth and tells us.
All right. This way, girly girls.
Cars this way. Dr. Human told us that Tatiana's heart is the same size as her sister's now, so it's not enlarged. And that Krista is now taking on a lot more of the work, which is fantastic. Because that means that we don't have to worry as bad, which is awesome. It was just like, when he told me, I was just like, that huge heavy brick that's been on us is just like gone. I don't think we've been this excited since the girls were born.
Wow.
One step at a time. Yeah. You know how happy I am right now? I'm really happy. You know why I'm happy?
Why?
Because we got such good news. You know what good news we got?
No.
The good news about your heart. How happy I am. I'm very happy.
I love you.
I love you too. I think I'm gonna call Daddy right now.
Why?
So I can tell him everything. So that he can be happy too.
Brendan Hogan, the father of the twins, has stayed home in Vernon, BC, looking after the girls' 3 siblings.
9 times out of 10, I usually stay home and take care of the house and the kids and deal with everything there while they go to Vancouver.
Yes.
The twins' oldest sister, Rosa, is 11 and in grade 5.
I'm disguised as a fridge.
Their brother, Christopher, nicknamed Toad, is 9.
My fishy in my bedroom?
Yeah.
And at 5, their sister, Shaylee, is the baby of the family.
Oh, hold on. Girl, phone.
Hello?
Hi.
Yeah.
How are you?
All right.
That's good. So, me and the girlies decided to call you.
Yay.
Yeah. Because we're all happy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to tell Daddy why we're happy?
Because you love our mommy.
That's not why we're happy. We're happy because we've gotten all good things. The heart was really good.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's awesome. Yay.
I love you, Daddy.
I love you too, hon. Yeah. Bye.
Who's funny, you
Or you.
or her?
You.
You.
Or you.
You.
You. No, you.
You're funny.
You.
You're funny.
Or you.
Okay, what is it you're trying to do? Don't pinch, don't pinch, don't pinch.
When we return, getting along when you can't get away.
It's like, you two have to spend the rest of your lives together in this world, and you guys need to cooperate with each other. You guys need to be nice to each other.
Ready? Here you go.
There you go.
The twins and their family are up early for the girls' next medical appointments. But breakfast isn't always straightforward with the girls. Tatiana and Krista have a few different food preferences, and that's created a fascinating problem when it comes to taste.
I want ketchup.
Krista. Yummy.
You don't like
You're
it?
thinking you don't like it? Get up, honey.
I want ketchup.
We just noticed that when we fed ketchup to Krista, Daddy would make like the weirdest faces. Like it was like the most disgusting thing, and she had it in her mouth.
I hate ketchup.
The next time I would try and put ketchup in Krista's mouth, Daddy would reach over and go, "No."
Okay, she's done eating the ketchup. You can get back up.
Okay, back up. No more
Back
ketchup.
up, please.
It's
No more
okay.
ketchup.
I won't give her any more ketchup. Nana won't give her any more.
I won't give her no more. Get up.
It's like, you two have to spend the rest of your lives together in this world, and you guys need to cooperate with each other. You guys need to be nice to each other.
Thank you for letting her have that, Tatiana.
They still have their moments where they can get so different to the point where they'll fight each other and get very angry and frustrated with each other. And those fights can get very violent. Come here. Come here. I need to talk to you. I need to talk. Okay, don't choke. No choking.
Ow.
Okay, what is it you're trying to do? Don't pinch, don't pinch, don't pinch. Let's just talk. Krista's pinching. Krista? Krista?
TV.
Okay, but what are you trying to do?
Nana.
Okay. So, can we go see Nana for a little bit? Just listen. I know, just listen. Krista, listening? We got our listening ears? We gotta get your listening ears on and listen. Go see Nana for just a little bit, and then when she's ready to go, we can go back to the game, okay? So go see Nana.
As the girls get older, they fight less frequently and constantly find creative ways to work together.
What, honey?
They're having a race.
Having a race?
On your mark. Get set. Go!
Who won?
Me. And me.
First up, an appointment with their neurologist, Dr. Juliette Hukin, who has been caring for the girls for 5 years.
When I first saw their brains, I was just amazed that they were alive and they had survived so well to that stage.
Can you take your socks off for me, girls?
She's been monitoring their epilepsy, tracking their developmental progress, and observing some of the girls' special skills.
I'd like Krista's eyes covered. Krista, tell me where I'm touching.
My sister.
Where?
On her foot and
Which foot?
on her and outside.
I was testing their sensations to light touch, and they can pick up the sensory input from one to the other.
I can't feel that.
You could feel that?
Yeah.
Really?
Presumably this information is messaged across from one to the other through the thalamic bridge.
But there are still some big questions that remain unanswered.
There's been a lot of social interest as to whether the twins can share actual thoughts as opposed to just sensory stimulation. I think they have yet to show us whether that is the case.
Excellent.
Well, good afternoon.
Dr. Douglas Cochran is the girls' neurosurgeon and has known them since birth.
Can you put your hands together like this? Show me how big they are. Try and break them. Really good. So which one's stronger? Is this arm or this arm stronger?
This one.
Okay. This one too?
Yeah.
Interesting, eh?
Dr. Cochran and his team discovered yet another incredible connection between the girls.
One of the things that makes these children unique is not only the physical structure of the brain and the thalamic bridge, but how they have what appears to be one child controlling movements for both children.
Through functional MRI testing, Dr. Cochran and his team observed that Krista's brain processes signals from both her legs and Tatiana's inner leg. The reverse was observed with the arms. Tatiana's brain processes signals from both her arms and Krista's inner arm. As a result, stimulation of 3 legs and an arm is processed in Krista's brain, and 3 arms and a leg is processed in Tatiana's brain. However, full motor control has yet to be completely understood.
For automatic movements, one may control the other. But for thought-out, voluntary active movements, for example, they're so different in many respects. I suspect they will have individual control too.
The study of the twins' brains could have broader implications for understanding the brain's capacity to rewire itself and compensate for some form of trauma.
What these twins show us is that nature has marvelous plasticity, and this is really exciting because it would apply to a person who had had an injury at any age, in fact, even mature people with strokes. Thank you for coming to visit.
But there are more appointments. Tatiana and Krista face significant medical challenges. Some, like epilepsy, relate to being conjoined. Others, like diabetes, do not.
Okay. Let's.
Innocent little baby is a cutie.
She is a cutie.
The meeting with the gastroenterologist confirms gluten intolerance.
We were looking for celiac disease, and we found celiac disease. So the blood test kind of gives you a very good idea.
You get your hands ready on the table. Perfect.
And a hearing test indicates their middle ears are plugged, but the doctor decides to take a wait-and-see approach.
Good listening.
Now the girls can hardly wait for what comes next.
Hi. That's why it's the science one.
That way. You ready to go?
Yeah.
All right. We're going. Where we are? Are you marching? Turkeys. Energetic. Which way are you going? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna turn it on. Did you feel something? Look at it do it. That's so funny. Oh no, your hair's gonna stick like that forever. Stick bug right on your hand. Look at that.
Wow. Look at it. Alive?
Yeah, he's alive. And he's a bug. That is wicked cool.
They do.
They make a current through each other. It's fun. I'm happy you're having fun. Fish. Funny.
likes them. Yeah, he likes them. He likes them. Aww. He likes you, Daddy. He likes you.
It's summer in Vernon, British Columbia, and the family is happy to be back home.
This is our little cat. Her name is Raven, and she's little, and she got little red light on her. Do you want to see? Yeah. Right here. It goes woo to here. Let's see, got you cute little white paws.
For Tatiana and Krista, mornings start with a blood sugar test to help monitor their diabetes.
Chrissy, finger.
A lot of them.
No, I need to do all of them.
10 fingers. You can poke pretty, 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 pretty.
I'll poke a different one every day.
Today, the girls need a shot of insulin and also take their daily dose of epilepsy medicine.
Relax.
But the girls aren't the only ones with health concerns. Felicia battles depression, and neither she nor Brendan work outside the home.
Okay. Go.
They make ends meet primarily through government assistance.
My wife's got medical issues. My kids have medical issues. I'm more worried about them than I am pulling in a check.
Louise and Doug also struggle financially, and for the time being, live in their motorhome.
My mom and my dad have been staying in my driveway. So they're close. They're always close.
We're gonna go to the park pretty soon and play?
Yay, party! And me too. What about Shaggy?
Shaggy too. We're gonna ride in the motorhome.
The family's limited means makes today's outing extra special. For Tatiana and Krista, it will be a first.
I haven't been to the water slides in a long time, and I brought it up to my mother and I was like, we need to go to the water slides. We need to take the kids and go.
Watch us go down the water slide. Okay?
Come on.
The motorhome is at capacity. With aunts, uncles, and cousins on board, the whole clan has turned out.
That's my rock and roll glasses, man. You gotta have them when you're driving motorhome. The reason our family was picked to have a set of girls like this is it knit us all into a solid family, and everybody loves everybody.
Let's go already!
Oh, come on, everybody, let's go to the water slides! Woo! Let's go have some fun!
Coming up on Twin Life.
Water slides, I think, are going to be a little tricky for them.
They're not going to.
People ask us how we teach them to do stuff. We don't. You never tell them they can't do something. They have to try it.
The twins can't wait, but Felicia's not so sure about this particular challenge.
Water slides, I think, are going to be a little tricky for them, but I mean, they love the water. They love sitting in the water. I don't think they're actually going to be able to go down the slides.
Hey, Pete, make sure you catch them.
The girls are still eager to try. But what seemed possible from the bottom starts to feel impossible from the top.
You don't want to?
How about that?
I'm not going to make you. I'm not going to.
This change of plans means a double hit of disappointment for the girls.
The emotions definitely are connected. When one feels angry, the other one automatically feels angry. And I've never seen one happy without the other one being happy.
Pete.
You try tiny, teeny one?
Felicia encourages them, this time with a much smaller slide.
On 3, I'm gonna push you down, okay? 1. Daddy's gonna catch you.
You want to go in the swimming pool first?
You wanna go in the pool first? Okay, let's go. You wanna watch mommy go down? No! Good. Awesome.
After a few minutes in the pool, they're ready to try again.
Sometimes it takes them a little while to get used to something before they'll try it. But once they've tried it a couple of times with somebody, then they get a little bit more okay with doing stuff.
That was fun! Again! I want to do it all by myself.
You want to do it all by yourself?
Come on, baby, push! Come on, push, Krista!
And then something that has never happened before. Krista slides down ahead of Tatiana.
Tatiana's usually the first one to go down slide, but on a couple occasions, she actually let Krista go down first, which was really interesting. Maybe Krista told Tati that she wanted to go down first, and Tatiana decided to let her. That would be a conversation that we would not have any means of knowing about, because the girls have the capability of talking to each other without saying words.
Tati, over the years, has just like become the permanent leader. She does everything for both of them. And Krista just kind of is her quiet self and stays in her shell, and, you know, whatever happens with them, happens with them.
Tell us, who decided that you should go down first?
Mom says that she always goes down first because I'm the Red Power Ranger. Oh, Jason.
Who's Jason?
The Red Power Ranger right here.
Curly, that was so good. That was awesome. Now they want to go in the bigger one. They want to go in the bigger one.
People ask us how we teach them to do stuff. We don't. You never tell them they can't do something. They have to try it. It's great watching them come down these slides.
After many rounds on the smaller slides, the girls decide to kick things up a notch.
The big one, we couldn't breathe under the... I don't want to do that again.
It's been a remarkable day for the girls. Their achievement made even more incredible, given some of the dire predictions the family has heard over the years.
They've gone from a doctor telling them that they'll be laying on their backs all their lives, was the exact words he said.
Again?
To crawling, walking, running, slides. They can do anything they want to do. They have completely surpassed everybody's expectations.
I knew damn well they'd gonna be able to walk. I knew they'd be able to do anything they wanted to as long as they put their mind to it.
They see something, they teach themselves how to do it, and it's done. They're a one of a kind. They're amazing little girls.
They've amazed me how they're the same, but how they're different, and how they're dealing with an error of nature to live healthy lives. I've also learned a lot from the family. They are absolutely supported and committed to these children in a way that many families would not have been able to do, and I think that shows a strength of character and commitment.
In the fall, a new school year begins, and Tatiana and Krista enter grade 2.
Hands are hanging by my side. I'm standing straight and tall, my eyes.
The girls love school. They love being there with their teachers and their aides, and they have kids who love to play with them, and I think it's because that school shows so much love and compassion for them that it's more enjoyable for them.
Welcome to music. Welcome to music. Glad you're here. Glad you're here.
They love being there. They're comfortable and they like being around other kids and learning.
Morning, Krista. Morning, Tatiana. Morning.
The twins attend a regular classroom, but follow a program tailored to their learning needs.
The academics is an area that is a huge challenge for them. If you look at the grade 2 curriculum, that's really out of their reach, but there are some things that they do fit in with. So we are doing some printing, but they're working at their own rate.
Tatiana and Krista are delayed by about a year. Educational assistants work with them daily and encourage them to achieve their maximum potential.
Now we've got the pattern. Now wait, we're going to do a repeat pattern.
They will always need the adaptations, but they are learning and they are progressing. We don't know what the limits are, and they surprise us.
So what comes next? Yellow. You know your colors, don't you?
Whoa.
Children will gravitate towards them. They are amazing, adorable little girls that other children love to be with.
Every kid that they've ever come in contact with is just very curious and very loving towards them. Kids are more understanding and that, you know, they're just the way they are.
This is a picture that a student in their classroom drew back in kindergarten. So the teacher actually had held on to it. I think it shows how the students accept having Krista and Tatiana in the school.
Hello, what about eyes? I'm pumpkin too.
Eyes, eyebrows, nose, mouth. The girls are ecstatic about Halloween. It's the one time of year where they actually get to put on a costume and be somebody they're not.
Does it fit me?
Of course.
I got big muscles
Big muscles.
because I'm a Power Ranger.
Those two girls are so obsessed with the Power Rangers, it's unreal. They feel stronger when they are those characters. And I think it kind of helps them cope with the way that they are. I think it empowers them.
I have to do my Power Rangers up again. Awesome. See? I told you. Ooh. Huh. Huh.
Can you see?
Let us go trick or treating.
The twins and their family go to the local mall to trick or treat. They feel it's safer and warmer for the kids.
How you guys doing today? Good.
It's a big public outing for the twins, and their connection has gone relatively unnoticed.
Hey. Everybody's out there looking like a freak, so the girls, I guess you would say, blend in.
Hello. Two heads be touched together. Trick or treat. I'm a Power Ranger too.
Yeah, that's cool. What are you a Power Ranger too?
Hello. What are you guys' names?
This is Tatiana and this is Krista.
They're stuck together?
Yes, they are, huh?
Why are they stuck together?
Because that's the way they were born.
We grow together. And Mommy.
Yeah, you grew together, didn't you?
Happy Halloween.
Thank you.
Bye. I like your
Yes.
Up next, every year is a victory in the Hogan household.
I can't believe that they've been here for 7 years.
With the end of the year in sight, Felicia is planning for a big celebration.
Right now, I'm actually in the process of making Tatiana and Krista's birthday cakes. I always make two because they're individual girls, so that's what I'm doing. I'm making Power Ranger cakes. They don't know that that's what they're getting.
Mommy is making us a surprise birthday cake with Power Rangers on it.
Jump, 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 jump.
Can you read us a bedtime?
I just read you guys a story. You guys go sleep.
We love you. And we love you.
Okay, you guys are gonna hit the wall.
We love you.
Love you.
Tomorrow is a special day and cause for reflection, especially for Felicia.
It's been 7 years since I gave birth to them, and every time it's like, you know, I can't believe that they've been here for 7 years. Because I didn't even think they were even gonna live 24 hours.
Congratulations. Congratulations. I'll get them over here.
It's amazing, and I cherish every moment. And especially on these days, I'm glad they're here. I'm so proud of them. They are the strongest little girls I've ever seen in my entire life. And I wouldn't have that any other way. And I will keep continuing pushing behind them until the day that they decide they can't do it anymore. So yeah, it's emotional and happy all at the same time. So yeah, big day.
What day is today?
Our birthday.
How old are you?
7. We are 7.
You're 7?
birthday today.
Yeah!
Woohoo, birthday girls.
The family has rented the community gymnasium for the big day.
Boing, boing, boing. We couldn't stop bouncing. It was too fun. And I bounced my head off. Silly me.
Okay.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
It's days like this you think back and you figure, 7 years later, and they're healthy, so can't ask for anything more.
Happy birthday to you.
It's been a perfect day.
Yum, 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 more icing. Yum, 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 more cake.
I'm quite ecstatic about how well their lives turned out so far. They're great, they're perfect. I can't complain or ask for anything more or less from them.
I still see people look at them like they're freaks, like they shouldn't be here. But people need to see that these little girls are amazing for who they are and not because of the way they look. That they are still little people.
I hug her on sometimes, see? Now she's squishing me. She hugged me like this. See, I told you.
Next time on Doc Zone, Canadian women and Cuban men, a match made in Havana. If it begins as sex on the beach, can it grow into love in a cold climate?
Cuban men have game like I've never seen. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna marry him. Would you marry me?
Love under Cuban skies. After that, the fine art of catching troubled kids before they go off the rails.
This very simple intervention almost seemed to be true.
Angry kids and stressed out parents. And in 3 weeks, can't see them, can't stop them. But rogue asteroids are a real danger.
The death of 90% of humans alive, it's something that we ought to worry about.
Most are working on avoiding doomsday, but many have dreams of mining fortunes.
Asteroid mining is certainly an audacious goal.
Mission Asteroid. You can always see our documentaries at cbc.ca/DocZone. I'm Anne-Marie McDonald. Thanks for watching.
Our country, as few have seen it, captured like never before in the most extensive natural history survey of Canada in our generation. Wild Canada, on the nature of things. Next on CBC.
You play 82 games just to get in the playoffs, then you got to go through 4 best of 7 rounds, then you'll be able to hoist the Stanley Cup.
NHL revealed a season like no other. The finale, tonight at 9 on CBC. CBC, official broadcaster of 2014 FIFA World Cup.